Okay, everybody. I'm going to now talk about synergy and the worlds of focus. Number one, make sure you have a deadline in place on getting all the red cleared out of PCC. Number two, when cleaning up the rooms, when you get through cleaning up the rooms, make sure you take pictures and send them to the administrator, DON, and to me, Shantae, Danielle, on scheduling of all tasks. The next thing you have to do is break down the task of every resident. So after you break down your co-captains who are department heads, so let's say you have 10 department heads, you would give each department head 10 people, which would be 5 rooms, 2 people in each room, and they then would break down those tasks. And we will have another training that is called Breaking Down Tasks. Okay? And so be sure when you see that button, push it, because it will explain everything about breaking down the task. When you set your deadline for clearing out the red, it should be 2 weeks away, maybe 30 days away. But you got to have all the red cleared out. That will make everybody in your building feel better. They can watch, make sure everything is being done. Make sure we add everything to our STAR report. Everything we're doing in the morning should be on that STAR report. If we didn't capture it on our STAR report, and you all should have a copy of that, if you don't, please get a hold of Meredith and she'll give it to you, or myself. But make sure you have the STAR report. Also, Dominique is going to turn on the Synergy task buttons in PCC, I believe, either this week or next week. You may want to call Dominique and talk to her about it. I'm sure she will send out an email when those are turned on. The next thing is get all department heads trained in PCC. Have Susan come and train all of your people and her daughter. They should know how to turn on the task, take task out, put task in. They should be responsible for their 10 people, but they have to be trained, they have to be educated. Co-captains complete forms with everything on it. They should have a paper with all the tasks, with everything that has to be done for that resident, all the resident goals, all the expectations and agreements with that resident. It should be like a mini care plan for that co-captain. And then after he picks out the task, he'll take it to the DON and the administrator to approve it and sign off. Things that must be done before Worlds of Focus start, and synergy. We all must work together, saying the same thing, deadlines, have deadlines. Now, when you start this program, you should meet with all your department heads and talk about what should we get first. For instance, you need totes. How can you put all the residents' rooms in order without totes? Most rooms are full of clothes. That's going to have to be put in storage or at least put in totes and kept in the room. So you got to have certain things before you ever start. For the Worlds of Focus, you got to renew all of your limitations because you're now putting in the new Worlds of Focus. And so you're going to need a store. You're going to need tracking forms. So you got to sit down, have meetings, and talk about everything you need in place before you even start your program. There's certain policies and procedures you're going to need in place before you even start. You're also going to need to know how to make QR codes. Okay? And remember, with Synergy and the Worlds of Focus, from now on, every employee that is working the floor giving direct care will have assignments. And every resident in your building will be assigned to an employee. If a resident passes away, gets into a fight, elopes, we should know exactly who to go talk to and find out what happened. Okay. We have to schedule all tasks. In other words, let's say that your resident's name was John. For John, we should know what tasks we have to do for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It should all be scheduled. We should be able to see it. And that way, it will bring a comfort level to any nurse working in that building, any RN, and especially the director of nurses. And we should staff that unit based on acuity, not just throwing people at a problem. Some units in our companies have residents that do not need 24-hour RN coverage, but nurses are assigned to behavior units for 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, how much time is needed to get every nursing task and assignment done. Deadlines in homes, we already talked about that. Schedule all tasks for each captain, and this is done by the co-captain. Then it's approved by the DON. Your co-captains are your department heads. The DON must approve all tasks. Remember, she has to feel good. And remember, you can put anything in PCC you want to have done by your staff. Okay? Okay. Add everything on STAR report to the new captain STAR report. Remember, there is a STAR report, but remember, we're also going to turn it on in PCC. So now we're trying to add everything to PCC in them buttons. Okay? Show all tasks for the residents. So you should have a spreadsheet for every unit that shows every task. This way, when facilities send residents to other facilities, those tasks will go with them. And we have our new Reliant app. In this new Reliant app, we will have everything broken down for every resident. So those assignments will be given right inside of the Reliant app. This concludes the portion for Synergy. And we are now going to get ready to start the Worlds of Focus. Okay, for the Worlds of Focus, again, there's certain things you got to have in place before you even start. And there is a training for the Worlds of Focus. I'm not going to go into detail on all the different things the Worlds of Focus offers, but it is a psychosocial program that must be in place in your building. I will say the criteria to be on the Worlds of Focus is a Axis 1 or a Axis 2. Anybody who has an Axis 1 or 2 should be on the Worlds of Focus. And if they are challenged cognitively, they can be placed on a permanent placement or what is called 1205, which is continuous, us giving them protective oversight. And we just understand there's 2 types of resident. There's one resident that will rehab, get out, get his own apartment, get his life back. But there's another resident that we will have for the rest of our life. And our job for that resident is to provide protective oversight, to love on that resident, to make sure that resident has a great quality of life, okay? And that they get great quality of care. Par levels for the store. You have to have a Worlds of Focus store. So every building will have a Worlds of Focus store. Every high acuity building and Four Seasons medium acuity will have a hangout. Par levels need to be in place for the store. In other words, you need to know how many cigarettes you need to have, how many books, how many candy bars, how many soda pop, how many MP3 players. In other words, there has to be power levels and a budget put in place. Get the worlds of focus in place, lock in the budget for the store. Okay? Make every home get AA and NA in it. I'm giving a directive to every administrator and DON to call IN with C4. They are our consulting company. They are helping us, and he is waiting on your call to get AA and NA started in your building. This should be done, 911. I want TV channels working in every building, and I don't want you waiting on Laney. I think you need to have somebody locally who can help you with this because Laney and them are very busy. But I do want one channel in your building where you can celebrate birthdays, where we can celebrate the employee of the month, where we can talk about what's going on for activities, what's going on for lunch, what's going on for therapeutic groups. The next thing, we need to update all limitations so that we know what our residents can do and what they can't do. We would like to see our residents be able to enjoy life more, that COVID is over with, as far as going on walks, football, basketball, going to the library, going out to eat, going home on weekends. We need to help these residents have a good quality of life. We need Oculus for residents. If you are a high acuity, you should have 10 Oculus for the residents. If you are a medium acuity, you should have 7. And if you are a low to no, you should have 5 Oculus for your residents. Now, this concludes the teaching for the worlds of focus and synergy on the directives given by the president. Thank you.